Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Holy Cross. My name is Charles Pena, and I'm a 1963 graduate of Holy Cross High School. I've had the privilege of being a 3-year varsity track man who witnessed the construction of the current track and ran on it before the completion and participated in the first track meet in the long and historic years. I have returned twice as head track coach and currently have been the Holy Cross Middle School track coach. This is the evening we've been waiting for years to celebrate. It is here, thanks to the alumni and our benefactor, who believe in the future of our beloved school and the mission set forth by the Brothers of Holy Cross. To them we are indebted with gratitude and happiness that will be brought by the update of this particular part of our facilities. I'd like to just give you a brief insight of what it was like to be at Holy Cross and not have a track and not have any of the facilities you see here. We were pioneers. We came to a school that no one had ever heard of. No one knew anything about the Knights. Nobody knew even the location. Everybody we would meet, you'd have to tell them that we were from Holy Cross, that we were from the west side of San Antonio. We had to tell them, they would ask simple questions, but questions that are pertinent, especially to young people. What are your school colors? What do you call yourself? What is your mascot? All these little trivial things to us have meant a lot to teenagers who are participating in an historic opening of a brand new Catholic high school. Well, one of the things we didn't have is we didn't have a lot of facilities for our athletic program. The roughest, toughest sport you could play at Holy Cross High School was basketball, because we had no gym. Those young men had to go outside and practice on the pavement. And when you fell down, you really knew you didn't have a gym floor. And I had to consider it, because I wanted to play basketball, and I played football. And I said, these basketball guys are too tough. I think I'll go off the track. So with that in mind, I'd like to just give you an insight of what it was like to be a brand new student and come to a facility that was incomplete at that time. A lot of promises, a lot of vision, but we didn't see it until most of it happened after we had graduated. So I'd like to start the program right now. I'd like to introduce a young man that is going to be our saying our opening prayer. So Mr. Eddie Vega, you can come forward.
Good evening. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Good and loving God, we thank you for creating the world and all its beauty. We thank you for memory, which enables us to build on the experiences of the past, for imagination, which admits to us a wider world than we could have otherwise known, and for foresight, by which we plan for the future. Bless this work that we do on behalf of our students, who through their education at Holy Cross San Antonio will strive to make a difference in the world. Help us all to act in the spirit of our founder, Father Basil Moreau, to truly be men and women with hope to bring. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie Vega, and thank you for those nice and thoughtful words. And now, let's start with our program. We are witnessing two people that are going to give us a living history as to what happened here at our campus and give you a description as to how does a brand new high school that does not have the funds to put up facilities at a moment's notice, because it's used most of the money just to construct the campus itself. So what I'd like to do right now, I'd like to introduce the individual. I call him Mr. Holy Cross because he's been here for so long. He was my science teacher, dean of men, and then of course president of the Holy Cross. So I'd like Brother Stanley Collada, Brothers of Holy Cross, to come up and say a few words to you. Brother Stanley.
Thank you very much. Let's see what happens after that. I'd like to start by laying out the school in 1958. That's when I came, so I cannot say what happened in 1957. But in 1958, when I came, we had the main building, that's classrooms 1 through 8, the cafeteria, which is attached to it, the brothers' residence, and that was it. As you left the cafeteria, you just got into some weeds, not grass, weeds, rocks, dirt, whatever it is. But our property, and then if you look now, where the fence runs along the far side of the football field and extend that to Reaper Street, that was the end of the property. Holy Cross had no property on McMullen Street, on McMullen Avenue. That's it. And when it came, you know, we talked about schools. As a school, what do we have? When the bell rang at 3 o'clock or whenever it rang, that was it. You know, that they couldn't say, well, I'm going to go out and run around the track, I'm going to go out and play a little basketball, I'm going to go throw the softball, or do whatever it is. Because we had nothing like that. And very quickly, I learned something. At Holy Cross, if we wanted something, you had 3 options. 1, you could buy it. 2, you could build it. 3, you could do without it. Those were our 3 options that we had. But anyway, Brother Harold Young was the principal at that time, and he recognized, because he had been at our school in West Haven, Connecticut, our school in Akron, Ohio, and he knew what a large school was, or a Holy Cross school was, what was available to them after school, and also school activities. You had a basketball court, or a gym, you had a track, you had a baseball field, whatever, a nice parking lot, and so forth, all kinds of things such as that. And of course, we had none of those things. And he said, we've got to get some of these things into the school. We just can't shut the doors at 3 o'clock and say, go home, whatever it is. Evidently, he spoke with Mr. Knoll about a track or some facilities. And I'm sure Mr. Knoll agreed to it. So he sent out a letter, notice to the parents, inviting them to the school, and we were going to talk about a special project at Holy Cross. So that night we met in the cafeteria, because that's the only place we had to meet. And we had a good crowd. It was almost all the parents showed up, and that's the way it was at that time. They showed up. So they introduced and talked about a track. They said they had considered other things, but a track was one thing that they thought we could do. We didn't have the money to build a building, or a gym, or anything like that. To do other developments that the usual things would require. So he gave the speech, and people really got excited, and they were showing up, and he asked them, what do you do? Are you in favor of it? And they stood up, and one gentleman standing up near the front, I was sitting right behind him, and they passed out a coffee can, and he said, I'm going to donate the first $1. And he put a dollar bill into the can. We never saw him again. But that's all right. It just showed that people wanted something done, and they were enthusiastic about it. And after you saw what we're going to talk about, you'll realize that giving up your status, from Judge Noble, we can explain a lot about that. So all the different things, are you going to name the people? Do you have their names?
I can remember.
Yeah. So we're going to try to split this up a little bit tonight. Judge Nola is going to talk. He was there on the job every day, and he'll explain to you what we mean by on the job. And I will comment on things that surround it, not necessarily. I'm not going to tell you how they did this or how they did that. And I'll make some comments about that. So that's pretty much what the way we can handle this. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's my fault we kind of went a little bit ahead of the program, but I'm glad Brother Stanley came and said what he had to say, because before I let Larry come and say some things, we have a video for you, and we'd like to play the video. It says so much itself. I saw that for the first time just last week in the principal's office, and we'd like to share it with you so we can get it started. We'll go with the video right now, and then as soon as the video is over with, Larry can come up and say a few words.
It's hard enough to hurdle, and you're going to fall, and then all of a sudden you're going to fall on a track that's not cinder, it's not all weather, it's rock. I mean, that's in essence what we're looking at right here. It is a rock track. The subsurface is coming through. You know, you have kids getting hurt. At least one day a week, we'll call coaches around here and we'll say, hey, we need you. You know, can you loan us your facility? So what happens is they'll tell us, you got the track. You can be on our track for 45 minutes. Not enough time to really get a workout in. Not enough time to do anything other than get on their track, work a few handoffs, and get off. Or the flip side of that is you have to come very late after they're done with their practice. A lot of times they don't have all of their equipment out. Their hurdles and pits are stored, so we don't get an opportunity to use those things. We're at their mercy. I think an all-weather track, if we're going to do it, we need to go for the gusto, and we need to try to have the best facility. You know, it's going to benefit all levels. You know, you're going to have a facility, one that you can showcase and bring people in to look at. But even then, you're going to have a place for athletes to work out. You could potentially have a place for community to walk around and do some training. If people want to come walk the track at night, what a great opportunity here. I just think that's something that we've got to really, really look at and understand the potential that it has for us, because right now it's not a very good situation.
Years ago, in 1963, the Nolan family built the track with their own hands. They were among other families who came together as a community to build and construct it. Thousands of students, athletes, and neighbors have used this track on the west side of San Antonio for the last 50 years.
For God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," has shone in our hearts to bring to light the knowledge of the glory of God on the face of Jesus Christ.
I never knew we were poor until I came to Holy Cross, because the tuition when I was here was $7 a month. That was $63 a year, and we couldn't afford it. And that's where the idea of coming with the track came. Yeah. Is that Dad was in a company he worked for, going out of business, and so he had no way to help out, and so he came up here to see Brother Harold, see if there's something he could do.
Mr. Lawrence and Mrs. Bonin Noble vowed to give a Catholic education to their 4 sons, Larry, Bobby, Rick, and Mike. Mr. and Mrs. Noble provided their children with the opportunity to attend a school that resembled the same values they were taught at home. They chose Holy Cross. As alumni of Holy Cross, the 4 Noble brothers have become productive citizens of society through their professional and personal lives. They truly live out the Holy Cross mission by taking their light to others, and have never forgotten where they came from.
He says, well, we want to put in a track. And he said, I know how to lay concrete, put up forms, and I know how to use a transit if you'll let my boys come here, you provide the materials, pay for the concrete, I'll see that the curbing gets put on the track. All of us, we were there at 5:30 in the morning in order to do that. And that was the deal. Every Saturday, weather permitting, we were there at 5:30 in the morning. We did that for about 3 years, my brothers and I and my dad. And that's how we paid our tuition. So if you go out there now today and see that curbing around that track, that was a Saturday project every Saturday.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing was we really never knew how many people were going to show up to help that day. It was all strictly volunteer. And I know that the picture shows probably 20 plus people, but as we went on, as time went on, and as the Saturdays rolled by, it got harder and harder to get that many people there.
Well, mercifully, both for the work crew and for me, I think I was considered probably too young at this time to actually be involved each time. I came a few times, so I was not actively involved in building the track. I did come occasionally. It's offline in this picture, but I didn't hear it.
I think Mike is in the picture.
Yes.
I was very young when all this was going on, like 5 or 6 years old, and so I didn't help per se because at that age I probably would have just gotten in the way. But I was up there a couple of times, and I do remember a little bit about playing with the hammer clamps. I think I would find some parts and pieces that weren't being used on the project, and I would occupy myself with smashing and banging the hammer clamps. And I also remember riding with my dad in the front seat of this 49 GMC back and forth on the job sites. And I remember at the end of the day, I would like to nudge up next to him and ride next to him in that 49 GMC. I always wanted that center seat where I could get next to him and just kind of nudge up next to him. And even though he'd been working all day, smelled like he'd been working all day, it was moist like he'd been working all day, I still have fond memories of that. And I just want to say one thing about the track. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Dad passed away 29 years, 1984, the anniversary here. And when my mom and I were going through his personal effects, in his wallet, we found a picture of him holding hands. I believe it was Brother Harold himself. Picture of finishing the track. And that picture was in his wallet the day he died. That's how special Holy Cross was to him, and how special the opportunity to give something to this community was to him.
Holy Cross gave us the opportunity to do that, and so that's part of the giving back. That's how we paid tuition, and provided us the opportunity to get a great education. And so I still feel like I owe a debt to Holy Cross for still trying to pay back what they've done for me. That's why I continue to help them and work with them.
The Holy Cross track is a metaphor for Holy Cross High School. Yes, there's a beginning, but as a track, and as a place to exercise, to learn, there's no end. So the Holy Cross track is a metaphor for this school. Holy Cross is still alive and well. It just needs to keep going, and with that community spirit, community support, and if all of us pulling together, just like they did when it was built, we can have the track the Holy Cross deserves.
Mind, heart, body, and soul are the core components of a Holy Cross education based on the philosophy of Blessed Basil Monroe. The benefits of health and wellness are enhanced self-esteem, self-control, determination, and a sense of direction. The Knoll family members have lived out their lives steeped in the traditions of Holy Cross. They have taken their light to other areas in their community, to society, and to the world. Thank you for shining brightly for Holy Cross of San Antonio. It is time to pass the light on to the next generation of Holy Cross Knights.
The light in the west side, Holy Cross of San Antonio, shining for the rest of the world.
can't tell you what it was like for all of us here at school, team members who had never had a facility to work with. We just ran around the football field, and they would just tell us, well, this is this far, 400 yards, and it had no curve, it was straight, take a hard left, and then another hard left, until you finish the circle there. So right now, I'd like to talk and introduce a young man, and the reason why I say young is because he's always been young at heart, and he's always been interested in what's happening to the student body here at Holy Cross. And I've seen him at several functions. He's an ex-football teammate of mine. He was a captain of our football team, and he was also a fellow track runner. And he and I were both in the mile relay team. And Larry was, so much part of, not only did he know what happened as far as the construction was concerned, he never bragged it on us. He never told it. Everything I saw right here when I was in Mr. Escobedo's office, that was the first time I ever heard that. And I think that they have been very humble, and I salute the Noel family for really helping us out. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Larry Noel.
Thank you, Charlie. We go back a long way, through a lot of toil and effort to help the school. And I still remember Charlie when we played LaSalle High School, which was our big rival at that time. And Charlie, I think, was one of his best games. We won that game like 42-24 or something like that. I think Charlie scored most of the points. At any rate, looking at that video brings back a lot of memories, some of them very emotional. At one point, I'd forgotten what I had said with my brothers when we were sitting there in the library, but it was a stark revelation to me when I found out that we were actually poor. And how did I find that out? Because Brother Stephen Titzer brought me a tuition statement, and I took it home, and it said we owed something like $63, and my dad told me we couldn't afford to pay it. And I was shocked. We never did without, we never wanted for anything, and when I found that out as a freshman at Holy Cross, of course my father, I should have recognized that was reality because he had lost his job because the company he worked for went under. And I talked to him, and he told me that the long and the short of it was that I can't afford you to send you to Holy Cross High School. But then he said, I can't afford not to. I'll find a way. And that's what led to the track. Because when they put out the notice that they needed help, that was his way, because he knew how to do that. And he advised me at the time that you guys were going to help me. And meaning Bob, myself, and Rick, and Mike was along as an observer. But for 2 years, or 2.5 years, every Saturday at 5:30 in the morning, we were out here. And it was a labor of love. And it's how we made it through Holy Cross. Is that we did that. He found a way. And if you look at some of those pictures, I brought one of the pictures of the first pour that we had pouring the curbing. It was very difficult. We had a lot of help. And some of these shovels, one of them down here, the one that's bent up, my dad made that because it's how we got the dirt out of the trenches where we rebuilt the curbing. And so without complaint, we did that, and that's how we made it through Holy Cross. And it was the education he thought we needed. Harold became a very good friend of Brother Stanley. And so that's how it began. I haven't seen this, but Ricardo Cedillo told me that over here there's a piece of the curb that I wrote my name on. That cost me dearly. The Gray family was helping, and the Halsheck family was helping. And there were several other people, some of the students. If you look at the picture, you can see other people in there that are still around. But Corky Gray of the Gray family, when we got down to this end of the track here, he wrote his name on the track. And Brother Harold found that the following Monday. So he called us all together and said, you know what? Nobody's going to do that again. We're not going to mess up this track that we're working real hard for. So that stopped the writing of our names on the track. Until we got to this end over here, the last quarter. And it was dark, and nobody could see what was going on, and I said to myself, you know what? You spend a lot of time here, put your name on the track, and see what happens. Well, Monday morning I got called in by Brother Harold. I had to write the Holy Cross Code 25 times. I don't know that I got a detention, and Ricardo Cedillo always talks about detentions here, but 25 times writing the Holy Cross Code, that's a chore. But anyway, I saluted the Brothers of Holy Cross, Brother Stanley, who's been here since forever. I started in 59, he was here in 58. And it's been a labor of love working with the gentlemen here. And I'm glad to see that Brother Stanley was responsible for these young ladies being a part of our great school. They're getting an education and tradition that the rest of us did, and they're an integral part of the school, and I thank Brother Stanley for doing that because he saw the need way back when to include them in what Holy Cross had to offer. As well as, the Brothers of Holy Cross were unique, and they've taught us all. Everybody here has a connection with the Brothers of Holy Cross. They've been educated under the Holy Cross system, and they know, and they've passed on that tradition to everyone else. So I'm glad to see the women here carrying on the tradition. Many of them are athletes, many of them are, as you see here, ambassadors and their cheerleaders and the like, and Holy Cross stays in the headlines, and I thank Brother Stanley for doing that. It's been a lifetime labor of love from him. And I know from firsthand, the Brothers of Holy Cross at St. Ed's and at Notre Dame have continually tried to take him away from this school and come back to them. He has told them, no way. He's here, and we're all thankful for what he's done over the years. And either myself or my brothers, I know my brother Mike is still involved with the school, and he's on the board here, and we've all helped, done our part to help things continue. It's been a long way coming to this point, but Mr. Drought, again, and I thank him, I learned a story that I never knew, but he got to know Brother Harold way back when, and he's in a position 60 years later to return a favor to Holy Cross. And Brother Stanley always told me, it's a tough go here, we're fighting a difficult thing, keeping going. But he says, you know what, something will always happen, even when it looks dismal. Brother said, we're doing the right thing, we're doing the work of the Lord here, and somebody is going to recognize that. And every time we reach a point where it looks like things are not good, something like Mr. Drought appears, and the rest is history as to what's fixing to happen. It will help our athletes, will help others in the neighborhood, others in the vicinity, to be able to enjoy what Holy Cross has to offer. So behalf of my brothers, Mike, Rick, and Bob, and their spouses, and all of those involved with Holy Cross from way back when, especially the Brothers of Holy Cross and Brother Stanley, I'd like to thank the Brothers of Holy Cross on behalf of our family for having had the opportunity to be here and learn what we have learned and carry some of those things that are mentioned in that code. I never forget them. You write them 25 times, I tell you what, it sticks in your mind. And, you know, it's a good philosophy and code to follow. And if you live your life with that code in mind, and you follow that code, you can never go wrong. And that's the thing that I never realized at the time when we were here. I realize it now. And I use that as a guide, either when I'm on the bench hearing cases, and I still hear cases even though I've retired. I've learned how to use Zoom. I'm not a techie, but I can make it work. So anyway, thank you again to the trust that Mr. Drought represents and what you're doing here. I think you're going to see great results from what's going to happen here, fixing that track up for the students to use, and the people in the neighborhood, and Our Lady of the Lake University, and St. Mary's, anybody who's in the area that needs the use of the first-class track, I think is going to be thankful for the brothers and this school and the leaders here, your principal, Dr. Escobedo, and everybody else involved. I see my former colleagues, Charlie Pena. He's retired. He's back here helping out. He's coached football all over the town. He's worked his fingers to the bone for Holy Cross. He's still here. He's back. I'm glad to see him still a part of the family here. I saw Augie Serna here. We played football together eons ago. I'm surprised we're still alive. Augie, wherever you are back there. Augie was one of the hardest people I've ever run into to tackle. Oh my God, you try to run into that guy. Back in my days, Charlie Pena was hard, but Augie Serna was hard as well. But they're still involved in helping out in their way to make this place a place where people could go and get a good education and a moral standard and a code to follow in their life. If they will follow it, they'll never have any problems with their family. So, brother, at any rate, if I missed something, you can chime in if I've missed something. I'm sorry, Brother Harold is not here. He was one of the founding people. He's gone on to his eternal reward. But all of those people had an influence on a part of our life. And it stayed with us forever. And we're forever thankful. And the little thing that we could do here is what my dad started. And every time I see the track and I see that video up there about what's done and what the brothers have done, at least for the Knoll family, and helped us get where we were from. We weren't poor in spirit, but we might have been poor in money. But you learn a lot being at that level, and you didn't even know it. And it's been a guide for my brother Rick. He's a lawyer here in town. Mike is accomplished in teaching in university and being a commercial real estate broker. And my brother Bob was as close as you can get to the founder of Valero Energy Company, and he retired recently as the vice president at Valero. And he, the president of Valero, you read about him all the time. It's in the news. And he told me one time, he pulled me aside and he said, you know, your brother Bob is the smartest man I've ever met in my life. He didn't tell me he was working him to death. Bob was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to keep up with Bill Greavy, the president of Valero. Now he runs this other energy company. But Bob stuck with him. Bob helped him. And Bob got his education here at Holy Cross. He went on to St. Mary's and was part of the computer section. When the computers there were as big as this platform we're standing on, now they're something you hold in tablet form. But that's what Bob did to help St. Mary's University. And he took that skill with him to Bill Greavy at Coastal Gas at first, and then on to Valero Energy that came back to San Antonio. And I know it's all because of the education you got here. Where I am today, it's because of the education I got here. Where my brother Rick is today, it's because of the education here. My brother Mike as well. So thanks to Holy Cross, thanks to the tradition, and thanks to the code that they gave us to live by. God bless all of you. Let's help Holy Cross.
Stanley, would that, have anything else you'd like to add? Yes or no? Okay, here we have one comment. Go ahead.
You know, when the track was completed, more events took place at Holy Cross. They brought all Catholic schools together, and that was mentioned. They were not separate. They were get together, and it was the Catholic education system of the Catholic schools were great. Larry mentioned, I asked him about the people, a lot of people helped out and so forth. And they put in hours and hours every Saturday. That's the thing that we know so much. I'm sure that the parents who worked so hard during those days are now looking down on us. And they are smiling, happy that what they are seeing, very pleased with what we are doing. And they deserve their place in heaven. They worked for it. And that's the thing. One final comment. The baseball field has a very similar history. Amen. Thank you.
Well, that's a plug. Going back to, I can just tell you as an ex-student, the first team that I ever joined at Holy Cross was baseball. And we had open tryouts, and we had about 75 boys come out for baseball. And it was here in the football field. There were balls flying everywhere, people were getting hit, other people were, it was chaos. And then of course, but we had Jim Devlin as our coach, and he's an ex-Marine, and he got things organized like quick. And before he knew it, he told us how he was going to do the tryouts, and within a week, every day, he would come to the science department. There was one class at that time. And they had posted there the young men that were no longer going to be on the tryout squad. And I expected to see my name. I was just a ninth grader. And as it went on and on, we kept 15 individuals, and 2 ninth graders made the team. Michael Lawler, our quarterback, and myself. And I got introduced to baseball here at Holy Cross, playing on the football field. And so you baseball guys there having your own field there, you don't know how well you have it there too, because we had to use a lot of rentals. We had to play every game away. But I'll tell you something that happened that year at Breckenridge Park. There was an auxiliary baseball field, and we were scheduled to play Central Catholic. And we were nervous, and we were ready, and we were excited. And when they got off the bus, we couldn't believe that we didn't recognize any of them, because they had sent their JV plus 3 varsity players to play us, and they scheduled the game with somebody else. Well, we kept on asking, hey, where's John Glenn? Where's Robert Shaw? Where's this? Oh, they're at South San. They're at South San. Well, who are y'all? I said, well, we kind of split up the team, and we got the varsity reserves plus 3 guys that have been playing in and out, and we're going to play on. So we were angry, and we were, we were livid. And we went out on the baseball field, and we couldn't concentrate on the game. And immediately we got behind 7-0. And our coach, again, Jim Devlin, talked to us, told us to settle down. We were swinging at everything they were throwing at us. He says, I bet you if that pitcher grabbed the ball, put it in the can, and faked a throw, all guy would swing. He said, now knock it off, and let's start playing. Well, baseball is only 7 innings long. We were at the bottom of the 6th. We're losing 6-0, and a miracle happened. They brought only 1 pitcher. And Coach Devlin said, I don't want anybody to swing. If you go down, don't go down swinging. And we made that pitcher pitch and pitch and pitch until his arm was falling off, and we went ahead 8-7. We came in the final inning. Louis Garza, who ended up pitching at St. Edward's University, went. And of the 4 batters up, he struck out 3. We were elated. We were elated. Somebody had done something that they're never going to do again. As long as I know, they've never done it again. It's underestimate Holy Cross High School. So I'd like to share that with y'all. And I'd like to tell Larry, we have got a little gift for you. And I'm going to have Dr. Scoville come over here and give something to you and say a few words too.
So what do you give someone who we believe has everything? A token of our appreciation of some of the original sender from the track.
He's got enough for the rest of you guys, too. Thank you.
Okay, I've been a lot to say. Just one thing to conclude it. I'd like to say something again, and going back to our track. By 1963, we were able to compete and invite other schools to participate in track meets at our school. And we were the envy of all the Catholic schools. Not one Catholic school had a track. We did, and we were proud of it. I'd like to talk about something called the Holy Cross Invitation. By the late 1960s, our coaching staff, headed by Jim Emico, created a multiple high school track meet and named it the Holy Cross Invitational. The true hero of Holy Cross was a track coach by the name of Pat Terrio, who both organized the meet and coached the powerful Holy Cross teams that participated and won several events. When I replaced him in 1972, I found out that hosting such an event was exhausting and stressful. But I had my old track coach, who is now the athletic director, and he took care of staffing and awards. Thank God for Coach Phil Waterwall for his insight and direction. By the way, it was he that hired me for my very first coaching job right after being discharged from the Army. When word got out that we were allowing public schools into the meet, we were swarmed with requests. And I was so naive that one year I had 18 teams of all classifications to attend. Surprisingly, our teams flourished. And at the meet, and we left many coaches and athletes stunned at the performance of our athletes and their competitiveness. Sadly, through wear and tear on our track, the Holy Cross Invitational was canceled. Now, hopefully, we can revive, along with perhaps a middle school meet in Mike Harrison. I'd like to say that it would be unfair to not mention or to mention the people that set records and made names of themselves in track. But I think that somebody would be left out, the feelings would be hurt. But I truly believe that track is a team sport with individual efforts in various events. It is the team that receives the trophy and the school that gets recognition. So here's a cheer for all individuals who wore the track uniform and represented Holy Cross. Here's a cheer for all the girls who have joined the team. Your legacy awaits you. Records will be set and broken. Athletes will soar to new heights and times will be lowered. We stand on the shoulders of those who endured training on an obsolete facility. Relay zones and hurdle markers will be more accurate. We've never boasted that we had many athletes on our team, but the ones we did have, they made us very proud. It was the old saying, quality over quantity. Thank all of you for attendance. Thank you, all the athletes of the past and present. Long live Holy Cross.
So everybody's been very patient, and thank you for your cooperation and enjoying, and helping us enjoy and celebrate this event, because it means lots to us. I have a couple of remarks, but I'm going to reduce them just a little to three. Three things that we like to give us on a school update. The first one, as you very well know, athletics is a pride point for our Holy Cross Knights. It's not the only thing, but it's a very pride point. And last year, just so everyone will know, all of our high school team sports made and entered the playoffs in a COVID year. Congratulations to our athletes. Both our cheer and our softball teams are the reigning state champions. And in middle school, our very own Coach Charlie Pena is last year's AIAL track champions for our middle school team. Congratulations, Coach. The best part about all of this is many of those students that are on the athletic fields are also our dual credit students with Our Lady of the Lake University. Since 2011, our dual credit program has offered our juniors and seniors the opportunity to earn upwards of 60 college credit hours while on the campus of Our Lady of the Lake. We are proud to say that currently 24 of our students are dually enrolled at Holy Cross and at the University of Our Lady of the Lake. In addition to our athletic and our academic successes, our Christian service program is vibrant with the spirit of service. Every Friday, our high school students participate in service to our community, that is, at Haven for Hope, the San Antonio Food Bank, Inner City Development, and those are just to name a few. Now, all of these wonderful things couldn't be accomplished with our graduates and our benefactors. And I'd like to thank once again Mr. James Stroud, who manages two trusts that are allowing us to celebrate here today. Thank you, sir. And to our alumni and other friends of Holy Cross, thank you for being a part of the 426 Scholarship Program, a program that seeks to provide a Holy Cross education to all students, regardless of financial obstacles. Tonight is a call for celebration of the mission of the Holy Cross Brothers, to educate both mind and heart. Thank you for being part of this event. Brother Stanley, Judge Knoll, Mr. Pena, could you join me at the ceremonial groundbreaking portion of our day? And after this photo is taken, if anyone else wants to pick up a shovel and take a picture, we'd love to have you memorialize this event as well. Thank you.
some lady students to help us with the next generation. So please come up and help grab a shovel. Come on, you ladies, come on up here.
We'll go this way a little bit. Perfect.
Hold your smile just one more second. Charlie, come on in. Let's use the original shovels there. Okay.
Charlie, did you put the batteries where they belong?
Is that all right?
Why don't I go share one over here? We're sharing one. Oh, yeah, one more left. It's a little one. That's mine. Flat head, just like me.
All right, guys, put your back in.
Can I adjust you guys? Would that be okay? Can I just have you shift it a little bit this way?
Yeah. We're all in the same sandbox.
Yes.
The principal back in?
No, I think we're all in.
Yeah, you were all in.
I'm balancing your side here.
All right. Thank you.
You know, I think I've done you want something. Okay, that's part of the family. How about remember you the North?
Sure, that'd be great.